Hi everybody, my name is Bhavishya and in this lecture we'll see the lab of stub area and totally stubby area. So let's understand what was happening in stub area and totally stubby area. Let us begin with totally stubby area. So in totally stubby area, what was happening is we were only left with type 3 LSAs, right? After our stubby area, right? In the network, in the network LSA we had our normal networks 23, 35, and 36. And for external LSAs, we had default route, right? But in totally stubby area, what we do is we tell our ASBR to stop summarizing the LSA, and after that, we are only left with the default routes. This was happening in totally stubby area. What was happening before that? In the stubby area, we stopped our type 5 and type 4 LSA, and we were only left with type 3 LSAs along for the normal networks, and along with that we had only default route for our outside networks or the unknown networks which are out of our autonomous system, right? Now let's understand what we will do in order to make it stub area. Let's start with stub area. So the theory says that to make the router stub area, let me rename, copy, great, stub area, great. Now in order to make it stub area, what we will do is first we'll go to R1 and we will claim it to be stub area for area 1. Then as we do it, what will happen is the adjacency between R1 and R2 is going to get break. Why? Because the rule for the adjacency says that both of the routers should be in, it should be, both of them should be stub area or both of them should not be. But if one is stubby, one is stub and one is not, then sorry, we can't give you this adjacency. So after making R1 stub area, we also have to make R2 stub area for area 1. As we make it, the adjacency with R2 and R4 is going to break. For that, we'll make R4 also stub area for area 1. And after that, when we'll go and see in the database, then we can see that there is no type 4 or type 5 LSA there. And also when we'll check show IP route, there we can say that we do not have any information about the external networks that we had before. Now all we had is default route for them, right? So let me give the commands and get back to you. So let's first check how R1 is acting before making it stub area. So for that we'll say show IP OSPF database. As you can see, we have type 4, we have type 4 LSA and as well as type 5 LSA. And if also we'll check show IP route, here we can see it has the information about network 67, right? And also about the 10 network through OSPF external type 2, right? Now what we'll do is config terminal router OSPF 10, and then we will say the command area 1 stop. And as we gave this network, as you can see, the adjacency between R2 gets reset due to the same reason. So we'll go to R2 and we will make it stop 2. Area 1 stop. The adjacency between R4 gets reset and adjacency change between R1 and R2, as you can see here. Now we'll go to R4 and we'll make it adjacent to router was 15, area 1 stop. As you can see, the adjacency between R4 and R2 gets changed. Now when we'll go to R1 and check show IP OSPF database, now you can see we have our normal network LSAs, network summary LSAs, and then we have the special type for our external networks, that is our default route generated by router 2, right? Yes, and also say show IP route, we can only see the default route, but we do not have any information about the external networks. For that we have default route, right? So after this, let us go and ping our PC1. So this is my router 1 and this is my PC1. Let's see the connectivity. If the connectivity is still there, give us site for the configuration. Great. Okay, now we'll say ping 10.0.0.1. Okay. Yes, there is something fishy. Now if you check, it's working, right? So the connectivity is still there because of the default route. So this was the configuration for our stub area. Now let's do for the totally stubby area. For that, what we will do is R2 is responsible for populating the network summary LSA in our area 1, right? As it is ABR, area border router. So we'll go to R2, just R2, okay? And we will say router OSPF 10. But before that, what will happen after making a totally stubby area is, as before we can say, as before we can see, as you will see in the database, that we have network summary LSA for other networks too, 23, 35 and 36. That will get vanished and we will only get left with our default route. So we'll go to R2 and there we will see area 1 stub. This was the previous command, right? But here we will add that no summary. We do not need any summary of any network. And after that we'll exit and let's check exit 2. We'll say show IP OSPF database. to check this on R1. Okay, so as you can see here, that we are only left with our default route. And if we'll also go for R2, we'll see that for area 1, it is generating just one network sub VLSI. As you can see here in area 1. And also, if you'll go and check our show IP route, we only have information about within the area networks like 12 and 14, but we do not have any information about any other outside network. For outside network, we are just given with our default route. Right. Yeah. So at last, just we try to ping our usual PC1, let's suppose 10.0.0.1. Success. And also let's try to ping our router 7. Ping. Okay, 10.0.0.7. Let's suppose this default gateway for PC1. Success. So yeah, this was it for this lecture where we saw the lab of our stub area and totally stubby area. Totally stubby area. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.